How about it?
Okay. Basically, like I said, what glass is, you already know glass is
Melted sand.
melted sand. It is a chemical called silica. And when silica gets hot, it turns to a gel. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but glass never hardens. It never becomes a solid. It is always a gel. Always. This is a big piece of gel. It's just what's called a semi-solid. And if you look in cathedrals, the ones that were built like in the 1400s, they get the pieces of glass, they're real skinny at the top and real fat at the bottom. Because that gel has slowly, over hundreds of years, pulled down. And that's the reason why we can cut it the way we do. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what we literally do when we cut glass is we scratch it, and then we kind of hit it, and it forces that gel to split at that point. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. All we're doing is we're scratching it, and then making it run along that line. With this piece, we have a thin piece of plastic in the middle that is real, real hard. So what we have to do is we have to cut this piece, and then we have to flip it over on the back and cut the other piece. Then we'll put pressure on it, put alcohol in there, and heat it up, light it on fire. That alcohol will make the piece of plastic in the middle melt, and it'll melt just enough that we can bend the metal, enough to get a razor blade in there and cut the plastic. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we got to try to do with this piece, and that's what we're going to try to see if we can do without busting it.
Okay.
So, there you go.
We're ready.
This is called a wax pen, okay? And what this is like a little crayon. You see that at the end?
Yeah.
It's just like a little crayon. If you take a regular pencil, try to draw on glass, nothing happens. But we take this, it shows up. Make sense?
Yeah.
This is called a glass cutter. If you look right here at the end, you see that tiny little wheel?
Yeah.
That tiny little wheel is carbide. Carbide is one of the few metals that are harder than glass. So we take this, and this, just a light oil. Any light oil will work. We put a little bit of oil on there, and the reason why is if you take two items, see how well you guys are paying attention, you take two items, you rub them across each other real fast. What happens?
It makes friction.
Makes friction. Friction makes
Fire. Heat.
heat. Very good. Fire, heat, same thing. So when you have friction, it creates heat. What happens with silica when it gets hot?
Melts.
It melts and turns into
Gel.
other way. Silica is sand. Sand gets hot, turns into glass, right? So if we're trying to cut glass and we get it hot, it gets hot, melts, and turns back into glass. Make sense?
Yes.
We don't want it to do that. We're trying to cut a little groove in it so we can break it along that line. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. This is 37 5/8. And this way is a little bit shy of 11. So we're going to take, we got plenty of room there. We're going to go from here to here.
I got that.
Here, who wants to make a pencil mark? Okay. Make a pencil mark right there on that line right there. Good. Okay, now, this is what's referred to as a glass cutter square. Okay? The reason why we use this is because with a normal square it's metal, right? And if we put metal on glass, we can scratch it, ding it, whatever, and it doesn't sit very well. The other part is, if we're rubbing this piece of metal on another piece of metal, it can create friction, which creates
Heat.
which we're trying to avoid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what's called phenolic. Want to feel it? You see how it's nice and slick? So when we run the piece of metal across it, it's almost like it's lubricated. Make sense? Makes a real nice clean cut. So, we know we want this cut to be right there. And what part of this cuts the glass?
The very tip. Little wheel.
The little wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that little wheel on the line, and then we're going to line everything up. So when I line this up, I want this to be sitting about 90 degrees to the glass. So I line it all up so that little wheel touches that black line. If I take my square and put it on there, where's the wheel?
Not
Too far that way, right? Don't want that. So we want to put the wheel right there on the little pencil mark. And now I'm going to take this, which is the oil, and we'll put this on there. And why do I do that?
Create friction.
Right, and friction creates
Heat.
And why do we want to avoid heat?
So the glass won't melt.
Bingo. Okay, now we go like this, and we put just a little bit of tension on it. We go. That's all we do. That's all it takes. Now, remember I told you there's two pieces of glass on this?
Mm-hmm.
If I try to break that right now, what will happen is it'll make a nice clean cut right here, and on this piece back here, it'll just shatter. So we don't want to do that. Now, we've made that line. We're going to flip this over very carefully.
So we can still see the line.
Uh-huh. You can still see the line. So where do you think I want to line the glass cutter up now?
On the line.
On the line. So I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to try to figure out where that is. Now here's where this gets tricky. You guys ever heard of a thing called parallax refraction? Okay. Okay, this is really cool. Okay? Step back a little bit. Okay. Who you guys are? You helped me last time. Which one of you two want to help me? Want to do it? Okay. I'm going to keep this finger right here. You tell me to move this finger left or right until you can't see this finger anymore. Okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to close one eye. Can you close one eye?
Just like this.
If you can't close it, just cover it with your hand. Okay? Now, which direction do I need to move this finger? Okay, you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, you can't see my right finger at all, can you? Now, close your other eye. Can you see it? That's parallax refraction. Parallax refraction is when one object covers over another from one perspective, but from another perspective, it doesn't. It's out of alignment. So what we're going to do, if I'm not standing directly over top of this, when I try to line it up, the line down here and the line on top isn't going to line up. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I've got to make sure I'm right over top of it. If I'm off like this, it's not going to line up. Okay? So I'm going to stay right on top of it. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to do it again. Just like that. Now, did you hear that pop?
Yes.
You know what that pop was? Bottom piece of glass just broke. Now, watch this. Oh, that one just broke. Oh.
That's a lot of alcohol.
Yes, it is. Now.
It will be in the workshop.
Yep. Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Remember, alcohol burns clear, so you probably won't be able to see it burn much.
Watch,
Oh my
watch,
gosh,
watch.
I see a bone.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
Right?
Gosh.
Okay. Burn for a minute.
It's not going all the way to the end.
I know. It's fine. Like this. And we just got a piece of safety glass. Okay, watch my hand. I'm going to put it like here. And I'm going to do this. And this right here is where I'm going to put lever. Now, your hand's too small. So you're going to hold it down here. Don't worry about this part. Okay? So hold it just like you do a pencil. Okay? Now, what you're going to do, like this, and I'm going to guide your hand just to help you make sure, okay? Okay, so everybody step back a little bit. And you're going to have to go the whole way, but we got to do it all in one shot. Okay? So you may have to walk back and forth a little
Guys,
bit.
come back.
Okay? So I'm going to get this up close to the edge. Okay, you ready? Come down here like this. Okay, you ready?
I think it's smoothed. Smooth? I think it.
Congratulations, you did it. Now you can brag to all your friends, I helped cut that piece of glass. Here, hold it up like this. You ready? You hear that rip? Oh. Real. Boom. Nice, smooth, and steady. Now, if anything gives us a problem, it's going to be that one spot right there, but I think we got it lined back up. We're going to find out. Okay. Now, this one's going to be a little trickier. This, right here, I've got 3 of these. Actually, I got 4 of these. I'll show you 2 real quick. This one, this one, this one, and this one. These are what are called running pliers. Okay? And what these do, okay, these 2 are for heavy glass. Heavy glass is anything 1/4 inch or thicker. This is called an offset. Okay? So like if we're cutting a hole in the middle and we're trying to break a piece off, we use this. Okay? We're not doing anything with any of these. Okay? So these 3 can go away for right now, but that's what these are. They're all 3 the same thing as this. This one, what this does, if you look at it real carefully at the end, I'll take this little rubber thing off so you can see it. You see how it's curved?
Yeah.
Okay. What we got to do, remember how we had to push on either side of that piece of glass to get it to break last time? We had to kind of make it bend? What this will do is we line this little line up right here on this run, this little scratch we just made, and when we push down, it puts pressure on either side and it makes that run. That make sense?
Yes.
That's what we call, when we break the glass, we call it a run. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back over here. I'm going to let this overhang a little bit, because if this is going to bend, one side's got to have a little bit of give. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go, oh, you see it start to run off that way to the side? Now I'm just going to go like this. And do you see it running?
Yeah.
All the way to the end. I think that broke. Yes. Yes, we got it all the way down. Now we're going to go this side. And remember where I told you if it's going to go goofy, it's going to go goofy right there? Well, it went goofy right there.
That's where it went goofy. Sure enough.
Now let's go this side. We're going to go like this. Come on now. Oh, it stopped on me. Okay, let me come from this side. And pray these two runs line up. Good news is, it's going to be in a gasket. I'm going to start here. Here we go.
So the fire just gets the film hot enough to
Yeah,
flex enough so you can cut it?
that's it. It gets it hot enough. The biggest thing we're trying to do is get these two pieces of glass to separate enough to get a blade between them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Holy crud. Oh my god. That's freaking awesome. Might need a little bit more alcohol.
There we go. There we go. Now, we're going to set this puppy right over here. Now,
The goofy section.
the goofy section here.
Back. Don't touch that edge, guys.
Yeah, these edges are very, very sharp and they can cut you. Thank you, Matt. Just hang on to it for a second. Now, here's where you get to see me use my offset pliers.
Ooh.
That is what we're going to have to use for this part.
Okay. Little bitty chunks can come out of there when he's breaking it off. So
Yep. Just like that.
is that just the film hanging
Throw
out?
the glass away.
I'm sorry?
Shouldn't you throw the glass away so that nobody steps on it?
Yes. But right now at this moment, that's kind of the least of my concern. Okay, glass is never a
Solid.
solid. It is always liquid, right? So what we're going to do here is what's called seaming. Now a seam is where we put a nice clean edge. If you look real carefully, this piece has already been seamed once. And you see right through here, see that little edge? See that's nice and red? You can touch this part, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and what we're going to do is we're trying to basically heat the glass a little bit to make it kind of remelt into the shape we want it.